everybody, I hope your day's going great. In this video, I'm going to be talking about ColourPop's Disney Princess collection. And I know I'm not the first one to be talking about this. It's been out for a little while now. In fact, there are a lot of pieces of this collection that are sold out, unfortunately. And that was happening right away because when I was placing my order on the day that everything came out, stuff was going like hotcakes. I was able to get several lipsticks, lip glosses, a couple of the Super Shock shadows, the palette as well. But even if you were really trying to be on top of this, it was hard to get everything. They were even selling the actual PR package, and I noticed that was sold out right away. There's some highlighters in this line, and those also went really quickly too. But I thought since I have the stuff and I've been playing with it a little bit, I'd go ahead and give you my take on it. I'm gonna do a little tutorial on the eye look that I'm wearing. I'll try on all the lip colors and just sort of give you my review. So this is called the Disney Designer Collection, and something I really love about this is just the whole theme throughout everything, how it was all so beautifully carried out with the signatures of the princesses, these sort of sketched out looking designs of the princesses in more of a high fashion sense, you know? There's a lot of gold in the packaging and on the boxes as well, and I just thought it was all carried out really beautifully. And sometimes, especially when the subject matter appeals to you, it's really easy to get pulled into some of these special collections, and sometimes just the whole thought of the collection maybe appeals to me more than like just the real nitty-gritty makeup necessity of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got 3 of these lipsticks, and let me tell you, they're 3 shades that I most definitely already have in my collection. But these are packaged beautifully, they're themed with the Disney princesses. That whole idea drew me in, you know? Kind of a similar thing with the eyeshadow palette. The overall concept, the thought of the collection was what captured me, but the actual essence of what makeup-wise is inside is not necessarily incredibly unique. I'm gonna touch on that, but I do think in most everything I've tried, the quality is there. It's just kind of, can you get through the beautiful Disney haze and decide if you actually need this stuff or not? But I do want to discuss the packaging first because I think it was really beautifully done. This is the box that the palette came in. The box is covered with the signatures of the princesses. You've also got the princess signatures right here on the inside, which is kind of cool, but I kind of like a mirror too. And then this is our palette. We've got a 15 color eyeshadow palette. It's got 5 mattes straight across the top. Everything else in the palette has some bit of shimmer, but they're not all the same exact finish. There are some that are really metallic, some that are more of a satin finish. There are even a couple that I feel come off practically matte on the eyes because their shimmer is that subtle. More on the nitty-gritty of that in a second. I also do want to show you though, this is what the lipsticks look like. Kind of a brushed gold packaging, and all of the princess signatures are on the outside of the tubes, but they do all have their own unique boxes. These are the 3 that I was able to get my hands on, the Belle, the Cinderella, and the Ariel. Again, I'll get into those more in a second and try them on for you. I really wanted Tiana because Tiana's like one of my favorites, but she was sold out. Got 2 of the ultra glossy lip colors here. Those come in just kind of a black box with some signatures on the outside and little stars and stuff, but there's nothing super individualized necessarily about these. And then the last element that I ended up with were a couple of these Super Shock shadows, which are also packaged kind of like the palette in this little gold box. They've got a castle right there on the lid. I got the shades almost there, and so this is Love. So there's your little overview. I'm talking a little more specifically about the eyeshadow palette. Again, beautifully packaged. I absolutely love what they've done with the sketched on princess idea there, kind of giving them all a little more modern, fashionable take. And I'm going to be talking through my tutorial in this video, and that's going to give you, I think, some more insights on everything in the palette. But overall, I do think it's a well-balanced palette. You know, I think you've got plenty of things to sort of get your crease all prepped up with. You've got several really nice statement shades, a super bold silver, a really nice gold, which is a statement in today's look. You've got things to take it more of a peachy, plummy route. In the bottom row, you have a brown and a black, and you might be concerned that those both have shimmer. But those are a couple of instances where I think the shimmer definitely takes a back seat, especially if you're applying it with any sort of blender type brush, not so much a pack it on, pat it on style of application. It's still going to give you all the contrast you need, so I don't think that's really a concern. Same with Magic Carpet here. I mean, that's a satin finish plum, but that's not going to come off insanely shimmery on the eyes. I feel like your biggest statement metallics are right here in the center row of the palette. The only real quality concern, the only shadow that I felt like I've had to be careful careful with so far is the Prince Charming shade, because it's just a little bit dusty. It can be pigmented, and I think it can be kind of smoothed out. Maybe if you dampened your brush a little bit, that could help. If you're applying it directly onto something kind of tacky, that might help as well. But if you're using it as like your finishing touch pop on a look, just be careful with it. I tend to prefer Ray for my shimmery pop because I think that shade just hangs together a little bit better. And you're gonna notice that the shade names all tie back to a Disney movie. You've got Chip or Grumpy or Fairy Godmother, Magic Carpet, Enchanted Rose. I think a Disney lover will enjoy having this palette and have fun with it. I think the overall makeup enthusiast, makeup collector types might want to give this a good hard look and think, how much of this do I already have in my stash? Because if I'm honest with myself, I've already got these kinds of shades. I didn't really need this palette in order to bring in something so different. And for example here, in my same order where I got this stuff, I also ordered the Good Sport palette. And when I look at this, I do see uniqueness. I do see an interesting splash of color there that I'm not really used to seeing in a lot of palettes. I haven't gotten to play with this one yet, but this is a little more basic in terms of color scheme. The first look that I did with this palette, I went a little bit more of a rosy direction. I used the Fairy Godmother shade. I used the Poisoned Apple shade. I used Enchanted Rose. I even layered up on top of that look one of the Super Shock shadows, the one called So This Is Love. That's giving me a really intense shine there on the lid. So in contrast with that, for this look today, I really wanted to work in some gold. So here's how I got the look. Alrighty guys, I've already got my lids primed, and as you look across the top of this palette, you can see a lot of nice options here in terms of sort of getting your crease prepped and just a light mid-tone, if that's where you want to begin. Not that you have to, but that's just sort of where my head goes. I look for something that can maybe just help set things up, and I think for this look today, I'm going to use Triton, and I'm using my Sigma E25 brush, and it's just a really nice, easy, kind of light warm brown. I really like the ColourPop mattes, but I feel like when I do put my brush into them, some powder kind of fluffs up around it, you know, kind of kicks up. It's not a huge deal. I'm kind of accustomed to tapping off the excess, but this is one of those situations where I think it is important. And I think I'm really going to try to bring this shadow up a bit, let it really be buffed out, almost getting close to the brow. Then I think I'll do a little bit of blending just with a bare brush. This is my Sigma E40, and get all blended down in this area. This is my little problem area for blending that inner part of the crease. Anybody else struggle with that sometimes? Then I'm taking Chip, which is just a matte beige color, and I'll use that as my highlight here. Then let's see, let's go down to Beast right here. This has a little bit of a really fine golden shimmer in it. And I think the last time I used this palette, I did it more just as a little bit of lower lash line smudgy liner. So we'll see in this look how much that shimmer actually translates. It may be one of those where you just see the overall shadow color more, not so much the shimmery texture. Yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of seeing brown shadow. If you packed it on, maybe it might be a slightly different story there, but this most definitely isn't one of your like metallics in the palette, you know what I mean? I'm gonna really bring it out and up in my outer corner. We're going for a little like eye lift. I was looking for some like recipes on Pinterest, and I inevitably ran into some, you know, neat little makeup hack pics, and there were a lot talking about the eye lift. And I think, well, that's basically what I do, you know, with the outer V in a lot of my looks. It lifts the eye up. Does anybody really use Pinterest a lot anymore? I go in phases where I'll be completely off of it, and then I'll come back and it's like all I want to look at, but there's always some kind of change that I feel like I have to adapt to, you know? It's like a change in the way they've decided to show things or layouts and stuff like that. I feel like I've gone sort of the soft and pretty pinky berry route with this palette, so I want to try the gold. I haven't actually used the gold yet, so it's called One Kiss. What's that in reference to? What movie are they talking about there? Ooh, this is a nice gold. It's a nice, really true gold. You know how some golds are more just like shimmery yellows? I'm gonna pat that on right here. I'm gonna leave a little space at the end because I want to try Midnight Curfew as well. So what is your favorite Disney movie? There's my question. I really actually love Princess and the Frog, and I think that is one of the most underrated Disney movies. The songs are great. I love Tiana. Like, I just love who she is as a Disney princess. I think she's awesome. But overall too, like, I really like the older movies as well. I like to watch the old school Cinderella, and I like the Cinderella, well, Belle would say Relly with real people. The live action Cinderella is really good. Old school Snow White, I mean, those bring back a lot of memories. They're obviously like even way before my childhood when they were made, but I do remember watching them as a kid. Are you seeing how beautifully this gold is building up? Like, that is a major gold statement. And then I know I love Ray. Ray is really great. There's a Tiana shout out shade. Maybe One Kiss could be, like, there are a lot of one kiss situations in Disney movies. There's Tiana kissing the frog. There's Snow White getting the kiss that woke her up. There's Sleeping Beauty. I mean, like, gosh. So just to recap here, we've put Triton in the crease, Beast in the outer corner, One Kiss on most of the lid, and Ray around the inner corner. And now I want to bring in a little bit of this Midnight Curfew shade, which is basically like a black with a microfine shimmer. Almost looks like a near black, you know, like a dark gray. And I'm just going to pat some of this in here because I want this to be like an intense look today. And I always think of black and gold coming together as kind of like a warm meets cool type of vibe. And I just want to see generally what this shade is made of. It's certainly different from like One Kiss or Thingamabob or Ray because it's not like a straight up super metallic. It's got micro fine shimmer, but it's not going to come across in a really metallic way like those others will, which is good, I think, because then it can really like create some contrast like I'm doing now. I'm just getting some on with this brush, and then I'll probably bring in a smaller brush to help me sort of shape it. Okay, so now going in with like a smaller little outer corner type brush. I mean, I'm so glad that there is a black in this palette though, because that allows you a whole other level of intensity. Like if they just ended it with the brown and, you know, stuck in something else just soft and neutral there, it wouldn't be nearly this versatile. We've kind of crafted our shape. I think I'll take a little bit of Grumpy, which is a really, really nice kind of transition-y shade, just on the border of your look kind of color. It's a bit of a deep peach, I'd say. And I'm just using that with my E36 just to soften up my edge of everything. And lower lash line, I'm going to go ahead and use some Enchanted Rose. This is kind of a metallic finish color here. And I'm going to just get that on with a pencil brush. Reminds me a lot of like the color called Heartbeat from my Once palette. Actually, if you wanted to recreate this look from the Once, I would put Midwest in the crease, Top Story on the lid, Dark and Early in the outer corner, and yeah, Heartbeat across the lower lash line, and you kind of have the color scheme. A little bit of Midnight Curfew as well, just to kind of blend that outer corner downward ever so slightly. There's the shadow. Very happy with the way these colors applied. I mean, I had no difficulties with any of them. In a past look, I felt like Prince Charming was a little bit hard to control, and you might want to watch like the fallout potential of that shade. But Poison Apple down here, which I didn't use in this look, is a very pretty color, kind of an orchid type shade. We've got Magic Carpet as well, which is a deeper plum, and that has a little bit of a satin finish to it. So that's another option for deepening up your look outside of just, you know, the brown or the black. So I do really see this as a well-balanced palette. I think you've got highlight shades, you've got plenty of mid-tones, you've got some shimmery pops, some deeper colors. I ended up with a completely different look today than I did when I went a little bit more like peachy and purpley with the Fairy Godmother shade and Poison Apple and stuff like that. That being said though, these kinds of shades as a whole aren't super unique to my collection. So maybe before you decide to buy it, just stop and think a little bit about your current status of browns, peachy pinks, and plums, and if you're already kind of stocked up there, this maybe isn't a must-have. I think what draws a lot of people in is obviously this gorgeous theme. That's what spoke to me. I definitely wasn't disappointed in the quality. I think everything in the palette works really nicely together. It's just not getting a ton of uniqueness points for me. And guys, this is how I overall finished the look. I did a light liner in the lower inner rim. I did black liquid liner across the upper lash line, and these are my Salon Perfect Silk Noir lashes, the 652s, I believe. Hard to remember that number sometimes, but I'm really pleased with the way the look came together overall, and I like that little splash of Enchanted Rose on the bottom. That makes it a little different for me. Before I get into the lip colors, I do want to mention the two Super Shock shadows that I got. These weren't like a set, it was an individual purchase thing, and I got So This Is Love, which is the lighter of the two, and Almost There, which is the darker. I'm almost there. I told you I like Princess and the Frog. These are brilliant looking shadows, actually. Almost There, the dimension on this brown, the shimmer on it is so intense. And So This Is Love, if you like a little metallic kind of slight bit of taupe, little bit of pink. It's in a sense kind of a delicate shade, but also insanely reflective. You know, I did work that into that first look that I did, and I just think these are really fun. If you've never played with this texture before, it's a little bit spongy. It's kind of like a cream, but not a goopy cream, and I like to apply these with my fingers or maybe a synthetic brush. I do find them to be pretty easy to work with, actually, and I'm kind of excited to just do like a two shadow look with these guys. I think that would be fun. But if you're into that formula, I think these shades are pretty dazzling, particularly So This Is Love. I love that. Now for the lip colors. I got two of the ultra glossy lips. I got Bobbidi and Boo. Why did I not get Bibbidi? That really would have created some closure here with that statement. Bobbidi is our peach, and it is sheer, but it's not a streaky sheer. I actually really like this shade. I thought it looked great on my lips. I don't think they're sticky at all. They're not a super thick gloss, and it does surprise me that they're not more streaky for as thin and kind of lightweight as they feel on the lips. They're just not an annoying gloss formula whatsoever, and I think that peach of Bobbidi is so fresh and beautiful. Now Boo is the shade that I've been wearing throughout the video. It's a little bit deeper, more rosy. Really love this as well. This might be my ultimate favorite of the two glosses. To me, this is a super wearable pink tone, so I was really glad that I went ahead and went for some of the glosses, because I was on the fence about that when I was placing my order. But now let's try on the lipsticks. A lot of people were asking me, what do you think about the lipstick colors that were chosen here? Because I did that whole video where I duped Disney Princess lip colors not that long ago. What was that, like 2 months ago, I think? And I was basing it off of their lip colors in the movies. Screenshots of the princesses in the film, and I tried to match them up. And I thought I did a pretty good job. Now with this collection, I don't think there's so much basing the lip colors off of precisely what the princesses look like in the movies. This is kind of a new, I think, more modern interpretation of the princesses, if you will. Because, for example, Ariel's shade here, she had downright red lips in the movie, but now she's got a sensible peachy nude. And I do like this formula. They're all nice creamy lipsticks. For whatever reason, my Belle lipstick feels a little more dry than the other two. But I describe Ariel as a deep peach. I think it's very wearable. I think I will get a lot of use out of a color like this. This Luxe lipstick formula from ColourPop I think is really strong. There are matte shades from their line that I like, but I think the creamy feeling lipstick is really their strength. Then Cinderella is a real Barbie type pink. This is maybe like literally the pink you've seen on a Cinderella Barbie doll, and it's very opaque, it's pretty, it's fresh. Some people might find that a bit brighter than they want to go in terms of a pink. Like in comparison to the pink gloss that I'm wearing on my lips now, it's cooler and just a little more bold. Belle is our deep rosy shade, and for whatever reason, I wouldn't say it's a lot drier. It just seems like a little thicker lipstick formula than the other two. I'm not sure what's up with that. No complaints there really. I just noticed a slight difference. But that shade is going to be your deep, kind of rich rosy color, very wearable, not super dark and vampy or anything. Just a nice kind of browny, dusty rose. And I think this is the one of the lipsticks that I have that very closely ties back to the shade Belle wore in the movie. They seem to have kind of stuck to that with this shade, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a great fall color. My top lip products that I got are probably this gloss called Boo and then the Belle lipstick. And again, the packaging is nice here. There's a nice sort of weight to the lipsticks. All the signatures on the outside. I mean, if you're really into collecting things, you'll probably save the boxes, which are super cute as well. It was truly just a really nice attention to detail with this collection and a nice continuity throughout the packaging and the actual products. Just a beautiful theme. Also, did I mention collection, none of those lipsticks have any shimmer in them. The 3 that I have, there's no sparkle, no frost, you know, it's just a creamy lipstick. So that's my take, everyone, and a little mini tutorial here on the Disney Princess collection from ColourPop. That was everything I could get my hands on that I really wanted. Just checking out their website now, I can see the eyeshadow palette is still on there. I don't know if they're planning to restock any of this stuff or not. Oh, they still have the Boo lip gloss. They've got some other shades, some more colorful Super Shock eyeshadow shades. Oh gosh, I wish I could have gotten like the Jasmine or Tiana lipsticks because those look really beautiful. Jasmine looks like kind of a fuchsia color and Tiana was a deep, like rich berry. But yeah, fun collection. If you'd like to see me do anything with this Good Sport palette, let me know. It really seems like a lot of fun packed into a very small package here. And that color scheme, for example, does excite me and get me a little more riled up than the color scheme here in the Princess one. Not because I don't like this color scheme, but I've just got a lot of these kinds of shades lurking around everywhere. So hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you so much for spending time here with me, and I will see you soon. Bye.